Yo, YouTube, what's good, bruv gang? What's going to be back with another video. So guys, Bandai Namco Asia recently revealed more information about gameplay and quality of life improvements that they have been making to Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD remasters. So in this video, I'm giving you guys the full breakdown and details about all the quality of life improvements that have been made to the game, so stay tuned. So, new quality of life features for Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster have been revealed. Bandai Namco has outlined some of the new quality of life features in the recently announced Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster. There are a number of new features which should help improve the gameplay experience, such as the ability to turn off random enemy encounters when you just want to relax and explore, an instant knockout mode which means you can kill an enemy with a single well-timed attack, increased battle speed and game speed, new game plus and more. Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster launches this summer exclusively on the Nintendo Switch family of systems. So here's a list of all the new features and quality of life improvements that have been made to make the gameplay smoother. With an array of new features, the game is easier to play than ever before. So there are 6 different adjustable parameters. Adjust parameters including game speed and random enemy encounters and save them as your favorite way to play the game. This is adjustable at any time. The adjustable parameters are as follows: no encounters, turn off random enemy encounters, instant KO, enable enemies to be defeated with a single strike, game speed and battle speed you can choose from 3 different options: 100%, 200% and 300%. Simple battle results display, switch to a simpler display of mid battle results after each turn, and finally auto battle, enables battles to be played automatically. They have also added an autosave feature, a help feature, check the meanings of key terms and how to play the game from within the system menu, a new game plus mode. The game allows you to restart the game after clearing it once, carrying across level, rank and Magnus from the initial run, and finally new game. This mode applies restrictions on what is available for a much more difficult challenge. So guys, big shout out to Bandai Namco, man. This is how you do a HD remaster, man. This is how you add quality of life improvements, and this is how you take time with a HD remaster. Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD remasters will be a day one for me personally, man. The quality of life improvements that they have added to this game are perfect in my opinion, man. Just making the game more modern and more accessible to players, man. These days there are a lot of things that they have added, the smaller things as well that a lot of players do not like to see, especially with older JRPGs as well. In terms of random encounters, for me personally, that's one thing that I really didn't like in older JRPGs, was just of course random encounters. Of course it was a thing that they couldn't really help back in the day, but random encounters were a thing that I really did hate, and I'm really happy that they have added the feature to turn it off, and in my opinion should be the standard for most HD remasters that did have the random encounters feature within their game. So moving on to the instant knockout feature, this enables enemies to be defeated with a single strike. In my opinion, this is a great quality of life feature. For me personally, this is great for newer players as well, who kind of just don't want to be sitting there and kind of like struggling with the game a lot of the time. It kind of adds that layer of difficulty per se basically, so it kind of means that anyone can kind of jump into the game, enjoy it. If they just don't really want to grind the game and kind of just want to get on, beat an enemy, move on, and then we keep going, that's a really nice quality of life change that they have made to the game. Also, moving on to the game speed and the battle speed, this is a really nice quality of life feature, and one thing that I love the most in the Trails of series, this is a really nice quality of life change for me personally. I love having the option to be able to speed up gameplay. A lot of turn-based games these days do seem to have that option as well. Octopath Traveler 2 does actually spring to mind immediately. Of course, that's a newer game as well that does have a speed option as well. Sometimes animations do kind of take time with turn-based games. They kind of can be on the slow side and kind of do slow down things, but having an option to speed up the battle speed as well, and of course the game speed as well, does mean that it just means that things can go by a bit faster as well. So moving on to the simple battle results display, so this allows you to switch to a simpler display of mid battle results after each turn. So the one thing that I noticed that did come out in the articles as well when the game was first announced was Bandai Namco's one thing that they were saying is that they wanted to make the game, more accessible. This is accessibility, man. This is accessibility at its finest. In terms of JRPGs, in terms of like a after results display, a lot of the time it will kind of bombard you with a lot of information. And sometimes newer players, especially to JRPGs as well, of course to older JRPGs, there's going to be a lot of things on display that a lot of newer players might not understand or kind of might not grasp at first glance. So in terms of having an actual option there available to make it accessible for people so they know exactly what's going on, exactly what they're looking at, rather than having to look at guides to know exactly what's being leveled up or anything else, I actually think this is a really nice quality of life change that they have added to the game. Also, finally, they have added auto battles as well. This seems to be kind of like a feature that is kind of added to a lot of games these days, not just remasters, but with a lot of JRPGs these days. An auto battle feature does seem to be added as well. In terms of grinding, this is actually a really nice feature a lot of the time. If you kind of just want to go to an area where you're kind of like leveling up against smaller or lower level enemies, an auto battle feature is always needed, man. Always needed in my opinion. You could just take a back seat and get that much needed experience that you need to level up. So they've also added an auto save feature. Now this is a big one for me, especially in a lot of the older JRPGs as well. You guys will know, if you guys have played older JRPGs, auto saves were not a thing back in the day, man. Especially a lot of the time you kind of like sweating or having to get to a save spot eventually. So maybe it might be an inn or a tavern or something, or a church if it's Dragon Quest, whatever you're playing, wherever you'll need to actually save the game at. So an autosave feature is really needed, especially in a lot of modern day JRPGs. A lot of the time an autosave feature is a thing that's kind of like standard or industry standard with most games these days, especially with JRPGs as well. So this is definitely a nice feature that they have added as well. So moving on to the help feature. So you guys will know, again, moving back onto the older JRPGs, with older JRPGs a lot of the time you guys would have to look on forums a lot of the time to find out what was going on or how to do certain things. You would have to look at the booklets as well. If you guys are digital only guys, you guys will know. If you guys are physical guys from way back in the day, if you guys owned physical games, you guys would know about game manuals or booklets. Most games or games these days do not have booklets at all. Even physical games, they don't have booklets. Back in the day, physical booklets or game guides essentially would be a big thing, man, of how to play the game basically. So Tales of Symphonia is one that comes to mind immediately. I don't know why it was just on my mind immediately. That had a guide in there of how to use arts, of how to use basically everything that the game had to offer essentially. So it was a big help back in the day, but of course nowadays it's kind of not a thing. You kind of have to go online and to kind of look how to do things. Of course YouTube is a big help. People are there with YouTube videos. You can find out things from different discussion forums or whatever you want to look at, but it is nice to have a help feature on the game as well, which is kind of industry standard. Again, with most of these games these days, they do actually have a help section on the game just explaining how to do things. So as I did say, Bandai Namco were making this game way more accessible to newer players as well, so they can find out how the game actually works, especially with a game like Baten Kaitos as well, which does have a lot of gameplay and battle mechanics involved in the game. So it's definitely nice that they have added a help feature in the game. Also, New Game Plus, of course this is industry standard nowadays. Again, I'm going to keep saying that word. This is industry standard with most JRPGs these days. Most JRPGs do have New Game Plus, or most games in general do have a New Game Plus feature as well. So it's definitely going to be nice to play this game on New Game Plus as well, just being like super overpowered, super over leveled, or whatever you want to say. And definitely go through the game as well. So of course you'll be able to carry your level, rank and Magnus from the initial run as well. So this is going to be really dope, man. Definitely looking forward to this game. So many great quality of life improvements that they have made to this game. This, in my opinion, is how you make a remaster, HD remaster, man. For me personally, recently there have been so many lazy HD remasters over the years. The two that come to my mind immediately, and which are two new ones especially as well, are the Persona 3 Portable Remaster, HD Remaster, and Tales of Symphonia, the HD Remaster as well. Tales of Symphonia HD Remaster at the moment is kind of going through a little bit of hell at the moment. I know, especially on the Nintendo Switch as well. I've kind of been seeing a lot of news surrounding that game recently. There have been a lot of bug issues, a lot of patches that have been needing to come out for the game, and this is a HD remaster, man. You're supposed to be addressing the problems that the original game had, and in terms of everything else, it seems like the newer HD remasters are having more issues than the original games did originally. So Persona 3 Portable as well, the HD remaster, that one just seems to be another cash cow. It kind of just seems to be like a HD texture over it, kind of just seems to be upscaled in graphics. Nothing that they've really added. For me personally, in terms of a HD remaster, if you've had two games, especially like with Persona 3 Portable, you have Persona 3 Portable and Persona 3 FES. For me personally, I would take the two things that made the game great or whatever and combine them into one game, man. So this will be the definitive HD remaster of the game. For me personally, it's just a lazy cash cow effort from Atlas, but in my opinion, this is gonna be a really great HD remaster. So a big shout out to Bandai Namco, man. They've done their thing 100%. It's the smaller things that go a long way, man, for me personally, in terms of just added smaller things, but smaller things that impact the game on a better level. So it means that it's more accessible to newer players. It means that older fans of the series can come back and realize, okay, they've kind of taken time with this HD remaster, and it means that they can enjoy the game that they used to love from way back in the day. So this is really dope from Bandai Namco, man. Definitely going to be picking up this game day one, 100% when it does drop. So that'll do it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching. So that was just a short video giving you guys my first thoughts and the full details of the quality of life improvements that have been made to Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 HD Remaster. I really appreciate you guys watching. Please like, sub, share if you're new, hit that notification bell so you get notified of my videos first, and I hope I can be you guys' #1 source for all JRPG news. So from me too, this has been your bruv, the big bruv, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.